Hello, I'm Alan, and welcome to today's edition of Alan's Cycling Adventures. Today is April 16th, 2023. I know it's a little bit later in the month than I've been doing the metric century, but it is time for the metric century for the month of April. We actually would have done it a couple of weeks earlier, except I broke my toe. So this is going to be interesting. Anyway, we've got a brand new route yet again, and so we're going to see how it works out. For those of you who don't know what a metric century is, it's a ride of 100 kilometers or longer, and the metric century challenge is to do a metric century every month for the entire year. And for those of you who are new to the channel, this is Teresa. We're having a little bit of fun with jerseys today. Teresa's son is serving in the Navy, and I served 9 years in the National Guard, and so we've got kind of an Army-Navy theme going today. Anyway, if you enjoy today's video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Click the subscribe button to subscribe to my channel. And if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, or ideas for future editions of Alan's Cycling Adventures, be sure to leave them in the comments below. Well, without further ado, let's ride. As I mentioned in the intro, I broke my toe a few weeks ago, the big toe on my left foot, and that had kept me from riding for the last few weeks. As luck would have it, not too long ago, I decided to sign up for Strava Premium, mainly because of the mapping tools that Strava gives you. The Strava mapping tools, for Strava Premium anyway, gives you an option that Garmin Connect does not give you, and that is it lets you select flatter routes. It gives you the option of either maximizing or minimizing your elevation gain, whereas Garmin Connect seems to look for the hills and tries to guide you to what it considers major climbs. I thought that it might be worth giving Strava Premium a try because, number one, Teresa's not a huge fan of the hills, and number two, Garmin had mapped out a ride, I think it was our February metric century, that included a hill on a road called Skyline Drive, which I thought was ridiculously steep and ridiculously long. And we ended up walking up it, which took us a while to walk to the top. So I thought Strava Premium would be worth trying. I'm glad I did, because getting back to the broken toe, I did not want the broken toe to stop me from the metric century challenge like my broken ribs in October of last year stopped me from the metric century challenge for 2022. You may recall that I completed a metric century every month from January until October. And then in October, I was in an accident with a car, a bicycling accident with a car, where I broke 2 ribs and punctured my left lung and was out of commission for a couple of months. Like I said, I didn't want the broken toe to sideline the metric century challenge this year. And so we were planning on doing a metric century back on April 2nd and trying one of the flatter routes that Strava Premium enabled me to map out. However, I saw the doctor on March 31st as a follow-up visit, and on that day he said to give it another 2 weeks before getting back on the bike. I realized that if I waited the 2 weeks, that still gave us 3 opportunities to complete the metric century for April. And so I decided to be a good patient and not do the metric century on April 2nd. Probably was the right course of action. In terms of this ride, I did go on a much shorter ride the day before just to test out my toe. The toe, by the way, still hurts when I try to bend the toe. The toe is stiff, so the toe is definitely not healed fully. However, cycling shoes are nice and stiff, and with taping up the toe, I thought, let me try riding the bike, and I found the day before that as long as I didn't try to stand on the pedals to climb any steeper hills, it was pretty bearable. In terms of the weather for this ride, at the start, it was 59 degrees Fahrenheit with the wind out of the east-southeast at 2 miles per hour. The temperature climbed to a maximum of 73 degrees Fahrenheit on the ride. The ride length was 62.39 miles, which comes out to 100.4 kilometers, which certainly qualifies as a metric century. We had 1,827 feet of climbing with no major climbs. We had an average moving speed of 13.2 miles per hour. That's about 30% faster than our previous metric centuries. So kudos to Teresa for picking up the pace a little bit. She's definitely getting stronger, and I think the flatter route may have helped some as well. We had a maximum speed of 28.4 miles per hour and a total moving time of 4 hours, 44 minutes, and 40 seconds. Would have been funny if we had taken an extra 4 seconds, because then it would have been 4:44:44, but it is what it is. Our elapsed time was 5 hours, 44 minutes, and 29 seconds. My average heart rate on this ride was 118 beats per minute, with a maximum heart rate of 149 beats per minute. In terms of where this ride took place, it was entirely in the state of New Jersey. We started in Garwood, New Jersey, and headed west into Westfield, North Edison, South Plainfield, Newmarket, Middlesex, Bound Brook, Findurn, Somerville, Raritan, Bradley Gardens, Bridgewater, South Branch, Reddington Township. We went past Solberg Airport and then into Driehoek, out to Round Valley Reservoir. And then we went back through Reddington Township, past Solberg Airport again, South Branch, Bridgewater, Bradley Gardens, Raritan, Somerville, Findurn, Bound Brook, Greenbrook, Dunellen, North Plainfield, Fanwood, Scotch Plains, Westfield, and back to Garwood. In terms of the pace, we did start out at a much faster pace than we had previously done. In fact, at one point, our average speed was about 14.5 miles per hour, which was pretty impressive considering that previously we had averaged about 10 miles per hour. However, I think we may have started out a little too fast, because on the way back, we were getting slower and slower and slower. And so when we got back into Westfield and we hit the 60-mile mark, I said to Teresa that I had good news and bad news. The good news is we were almost home. The bad news is we might be a little too close to home. And so we might have to end up going past the house and then turning around and coming back, which is what it is. But when you're tired, psychologically that can be a little difficult. And it seemed like Teresa was pretty tired by the end. Fortunately, as luck would have it, as we got back to the house, We were just about at 62.4 miles. I knew that was over a metric century. And so we didn't have to go past the house and come back. Looks like we just barely went far enough. I think if we attempt this route again in the future, I'm going to go a little bit past where the GPS tells me to turn around, just to make sure, because, you know, sometimes the GPS can be off a little bit, and I don't want to end the ride and have it tell me that I was at 99 point something kilometers. That would be kind of a bummer. But overall, I would say this was a really fun route. I look forward to riding it again. Even more so, though, there is another flattish route that I mapped out, this one from Teresa's house. And I think this one could be even more fun. So for an upcoming ride at some point, we're going to ride from Teresa's house again. And this route, while it is flattish like the one we rode today, I think has a surprise in it that may give Teresa a little kick. Certainly will me, but I already know what the surprise is. And I'm not going to reveal what it is. You'll see it in a future edition of Alan's Cycling Adventures. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video as much as we enjoyed riding. And since we're just about home at this point, I will see you in the afterward and the next video. Well, that was a lot of fun. I liked that route. What did you think of it?
It's good.
Yeah.
Nice and flat.
Yes, we went for a flat route, and I think we accomplished it. Anyway, that's the metric century for the month of April. And until next time, stay safe out there.